that allowed it to go, to my mind, into sort of deeper places. It moved me in a way that I not only didn't expect, but I don't think that it could have if it were done in a bit more of a conventional fashion, I guess. And I think part of that was just by the unexpected way that it was presented. You know, that amount of surprise already primes you, I think, for me anyway, because by being surprised by something and seeing something that's new or different, you're listening a little bit more closely. You're more, I think, open to be affected in a way that I think, and you know, as much as I love conventional, linear, well-made plays, and sometimes you can be sort of amazed anew when you see a play that you might have seen 100 times already, and yet when somebody does it incredibly well, you get moved in a different way. But even still, I think that there are sort of limits, because that's been sort of the norm and the basic that you know, a regular well-made play has been sort of done. There's been so much of it that in some ways you know, I've gotten a little, I don't know, a little jaded, I guess, you know, and I like something to be a little bit out there, a little bit unconventional in the way that it's presenting things.
But certainly you want to see actors taking risk.
Absolutely, and I think there's room for truth, again, just to get back to that, in whatever the sort of style of storytelling or whatever the style of the theater piece there is. You know, there's presumably still something true and real underlying it.
Now, what kind of actors move you, Chris? I mean, what kind of acting inspires you? Because I know there's so much great talent out there, but what kind of work really inspires you? Makes you hungry for more. I want to do that play. I want to do this play. I want to go.
It's a big question. You know, I have to say, and you know, as much as I respect other actors and think there are so many that I think are wonderful and that I sort of love seeing their work, I think in some ways I'm oftentimes more moved by or more inspired by a piece as a whole. So for example, when you see something, this is going back a little bit, but like August Osage County.
Right.
Which I thought was a wonderful piece, and everybody in it was fantastic, and everything about it was wonderful. And I found it...
that was with Estelle Parsons.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it was this ensemble that had done the show at Steppenwolf in Chicago. You know, when I saw that, the play is excellent, sure, and everybody in it was excellent, but it was something about the whole, you know, the fact that it all worked together as a whole, that they worked together as an ensemble, doing a play. It was that unity of the whole thing.
Right.
More so than any one particular performance that moved me. You know, there have been particular performers and particular performances that have moved me, but I think for the most part it does tend to be sort of a piece as a whole will move me in such a way that every one of the parts, they just sort of blend a bit. Like another thing that I found very moving a couple years ago was Geoffrey Rush in Exit the King. I thought was one of the
He's such
most
a great
wonderful things
actor.
I've seen in a long time, and it was, but you know, I wouldn't put it all on him. I thought it was a fantastic play, and he, you know, would he have been as good if the people around him were not as stellar as they were in order to support him? So the short answer is, I guess I really don't know about, you know, in terms of particular performers. It's more I love seeing everything, and I think when a piece is moving or interesting or exciting or even funny, you know, that's to me what's inspiring is people sort of being engaged, being involved, and you know, trying to do something. I think more so than actual talent, frankly, more so than talent or anything like that, is the sort of dedication, in the same way that I was talking before about the idea of the will to do something well and the desire to put yourself out there.
Chris.
That to me I find much more moving than skill or talent.
And it makes you realize that this is such a beautiful profession, and you give so much that you feel that we have to pay tribute to actors. We have to pay tribute to theater people, to directors, producers, writers, because it's difficult to get up there and be good at it. I don't care how much skill you have. I don't care how much training. Chris, you can have the best director, you can have the best writer working with you, but it takes a lot of you. It takes a lot. It's like somebody, I don't know what, somebody said it. I don't know, somebody from England said that when you act, when you do a play, night after night after night, like you're born and you die every time you do it. And it's never going to be the same. One performance is different from the other. Like you're born and you die, you're born and die, different times, over and over. So I don't know.
But it's a lot to go through, and
it's
to be willing to put yourself
in
that, you know, in that space, or maybe not so much in that space, but to be willing to put yourself through that repeatedly over and over, like that. That is a hard thing, and I sort of didn't realize that until I think talking to somebody who was not involved in the theater, and I think they probably had a better paying and more seemingly interesting job than me, and I was talking and was sort of surprised to hear them say, like, I think I'm always surprised when everybody said that they wouldn't want to be an actor, or that because to me it seems like so fun. Why wouldn't you want to be involved? Why wouldn't you get a chance to go to different places and play different people and sort of make believe and all that sort of thing? It's all great.
Right.
But I remember you know, a person specifically saying, like, that to me sounds horrible, to have to be out there in front of all these people and have to go through that and this person was saying, like, and how much they appreciate it because they love seeing theater.
Right.
But they were like, but they had no desire to ever be involved in it because they got so much from it as an audience member. And to me, that was a little bit gratifying to think, like, wow, so there is more to it than just the, the amount of fun that somebody's having doing a show. That there is appreciation on that. It's not something that everybody wants to do or can do. You know, that was a little gratifying. It's
not that I'm analyzing you, but it's kind of tough not to. You're profound, and you know your craft. So I can sense you. I can feel you, Chris. Does it get easier for you, the acting work, the play after play? Does it get easier? You think that the older you get, the better you become, but does it get easier when you grab a new project, a new play, you got the script? Does it get easier for you?
Yeah, it does. You know, certain elements of it get easier. You know, I was kidding before about being, like, I'm not that terrible with lines, but you get better at that. That becomes like a skill that you.
Right, it's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
It's a skill that you learn. You also, the more you do plays, the more you understand how they're constructed because you've either from seeing them or working on them. There's just an understanding of it. It's an experience thing where some of those. The things that you have to do, the things that go into doing every show, no matter what the type of show, what type of style or genre or role or anything like that, there are certain things that you're always going to be doing, and those become more like second nature. And so in that sense, all of those things make it easier. That being said, of course, the tougher parts are still tough in the sense that it can be a little bit either frightening to experience some of the emotions that you sort of want to. It can be a little bit, you get self-conscious by putting yourself out there to be judged. Well, not even to just be judged. Putting yourself out there hoping to do something, and it's like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I do it wrong? You know, you get self-conscious, you do get worried, and that will always be there. But you know, the more you do it, the more confidence I think that you get in your ability to act, to be in a show, to perform, and that'll always help. And it can be as easy or as difficult, I guess, as you want it to be. As much, if you really want to go for, you know, if you want to go deeper, then there's always deeper to go. So it'll always be harder. It'll always be hard to a certain extent.
But Chris, I think, like I said, I'm always very passionate about acting, and I love actors very much. But you have a deep understanding of the craft. You really do. And it shows when you're on stage. You're very crafted, but you really understand it and you live it, and you're so beautiful to look at. You're so easy to the eye, and you're so hot, and you're so well trained.
Yes,
And
yes.
I keep giving you what, baby? Take it in. I said, this guy, you're a leading man. You can do anything you want. We were talking about Michael Fassbender right before we started, and you remind me of him. And I said, oh, he looks like
I mean,
Chris.
I don't see it, but I wish I could look in the mirror and see that, but.
I do. So take my word.
So, yeah, I was about to say, I'm not going to disagree.
I do, and it's. I don't know. It's gotta be. It's. I can see that you're very happy in your own skin, Chris. You're a happy man.
Well, that's another. When you talk about, do things get easier? The more one settles into one's own skin, it makes everything easier. I think.
Yeah.
That's the upside of getting older,
Right.
of living longer.
But I want to see you doing the seagull. I said it.
Yeah.
I want to see
I'd
you
love to.
doing the seagull. What other play would you like to work on?
That's an interesting question. I've never done a full Chekhov piece, so I really would. Nor have I ever done any full Tennessee Williams, and so I think that's something that something that I would like to do. I especially like, he went a little bit crazy later in life. And I know his later stuff was, though not considered universally
Right.
successful, he was constantly trying to innovate and trying to do different things. And I think that's wonderful. And I'd like to know more about that side of him and get a chance to work at that. But I'm also always particularly interested in new work and new pieces. So the things that I'd most like to work on, hopefully I haven't read yet.
Yeah.
But
You
we'll
see? And look at the credits, man. Look at that. Well, look at that screen. You see that?
Oh, there they are.
There they are.
Time is up.
Time is up. I can't believe it. You see,
Oh,
this
it's
is
such a pleasure.
Man, but I can't, because this is like, time goes so fast that
yeah.
you cannot even cover. I want to talk about your writing, but we didn't have a time.
Well, just reason to come back, I suppose.
You
And
see?
hopefully I have more to promote. I have a
Yes.
comic book project specifically that I've been working on that
Nice.
is close to fruition. So hopefully that will be available by Christmas.
By Christmas.
That's
So
the
you're
hope.
busy. You're busy 7 days a week.
Try to keep busy.
Do you ever rest?
Do
Do you sleep late?
No.
You get up early. You're an early
I'm a
riser.
pretty
Give
early
me
riser.